little towns of Brookfield and Wauwatosa and all of our neighboring villages, how still we lie as the stars gather above, our dark streets shine with the promise of light. Welcome to the Christmas Eve service at the UU Church West. Whether gathered here in person or joining us virtually online, welcome. Throughout the service, we'll be singing from the carol sheets you received when you entered, with verses chosen to help tell tonight's story, and you're invited to stand if you'd like each time we sing. If you don't have a song sheet, you might want to just raise your hand, and one of our ushers, I'm sure, can help you find one. Those online can find a link to the song sheet just under the stream window. So let's begin with Joy to the World. Wonderful. After the stores have closed and the final presents have been wrapped, beyond the ding, ding, ding of Salvation Army handbells, beyond the steady, efficient computer click of cash registers, beyond the sometimes gay, sometimes reverent drone of Christmas music, there will come the deep silence of Christmas Eve. You will look into the star-pocked dome of infinity and shiver compulsively. Yet your heartbeat will give such wonderful comfort that a feeling of utter holiness becomes an unuttered prayer. At that moment, you will know why the shepherds who kept watch through the night heard the hosannas of a heavenly host.
Hello. Okay. We light our chalice tonight with the hope that the story of Christmas will touch each one of us, that in the sharing of human experience, something in us is illuminated and changed. These are the words of Christopher Rabel, the first minister of this congregation. Take Christmas. Take the ancient, the medieval, the modern. Take what is sacred, secular, solemn, and silly. Take a Bethlehem babe in a stable surrounded by shepherds and kings with a brilliant star overhead. Take music from as many countries as imagination can grasp. Take lighted tree and punch bowl and greeting card. Take mittened carolers and charitable gifts and candlelight services. Take it all or take any part. Folks, join me with Reverend Rabel's closing words. They're printed in the order of service. Take Christmas. Take its courage, its hope, its joy, its peace, its goodwill. Take Christmas, but to take it, you must also add to its light. Thank you. Again, welcome to UU Church West on Christmas Eve. Welcome, everybody, for a service that's all about the story of Christmas and about wondering about that story from the perspective of people in the story. After all, they are people just like us, people trying to live their ordinary lives in extraordinary moments. My name is Jeannie Baker, and I'm one of the members of your Board of Trustees. It's a privilege to be co-leading this service today with Reverend Julie. A comfort to be together on this special evening, and a joy to hear the beautiful music of your voice as we progress through this evening of carols and stories. If you're a newcomer here, and if you'd like more information about us or about Unitarian Universalism, you can send us an email at visitor@uu.org to introduce yourself or to ask for more information. Or feel free to talk to me or Reverend Julie or any of the other members after the service. This service is for all ages. If you'd like nursery care for your little ones, our nursery is open to welcome you. An usher can direct you there. There's also an activity table over here, and the service is streamed to the community room for anyone who needs a little more space or a way to keep your hands and mind busy. You've received printed information about the rest of our holiday events and services, and we hope that you'll join us. Also note that all are invited to gather here again tomorrow morning for breakfast, song, games, as well as a visit from a very special guest. That begins at 10 o'clock. Does everyone have a candle? Okay, who does not? Ushers? The ushers are going to help you, and I see them coming from the back. Okay, Reverend Julie and I are going to do a quick demonstration to prepare you for our candle lighting. Right? Okay. The basic principle, everybody, the basic principle is that once your candle is lit, it stays upright. Not complicated, but this is the basic principle. The little paper circle with the candle, this is called the bobèche, is to catch the wax, right? It doesn't do that unless you're upright. So keep your lit candle erect and let the person lighting their candle bend towards you. Make sense to everybody? Okay. And now you can just set your candle aside until later, after that teaser event. Okay, let's take a moment to revel in this community and to literally touch each other. I invite you to take a few moments to greet those around you and to wish them the peace of the season. We'll follow that by joining together in song, Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
So, Thomas King, a Canadian Indigenous author, suggests that you'll never believe what happened is always a great way to start a story. Stories provide a powerful opening for wonder, and through them we learn to shape our life experiences into patterns of meaning. And we can learn just as much from the stories of others. Tonight's service is a sort of dialogue between the story as told in the Christian Testament, slightly paraphrased, and the story as might be told by some of the characters in that story. You'll never believe what happened. The angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town called Nazareth to a virgin engaged to Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, "Greeting, favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was much perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God, and now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great, and God will give to him the throne of his ancestor David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever." And later, Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, for he has looked on me with favor. Surely, from now on, all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name."
My name is Mary, and I live in a sleepy little town called Nazareth. Nobody really ever pays any attention to me. I mean, I'm not anything special or anyone famous. I really wonder why this happened to me, of all people. See, I have this old auntie, Elizabeth. Maybe it runs in the family or something. But she got pregnant right after Zechariah, her husband, had a dream that an angel came to visit him and told him Elizabeth would have a baby. That's what happened to me too. I'm a lot younger than her, but an angel visited me too. Well, I mean, in a dream. And he says I'm going to get pregnant. It's pretty weird. Could angel visits run in the family? Like I said, I'm nobody special. I don't know why an angel would visit me, but he said, the angel I mean, he said God had picked me especially. Me, it's weird. Why me? I mean, why would I dream that? Still, it's pretty cool. It makes me feel special. And the angel says that my baby is going to be someone really important. My kid! Like, he said he might be king or something. Imagine that, a king. See, my boyfriend, Joseph, he's related to King David. David was like his great-great-great-grandfather or something like that. So maybe my baby could be a king. Joseph, he's a good guy. I guess he does sometimes make me feel special. But I'm sort of scared to tell him about this dream. I mean, what if it really happens? What if it's true? Nah, it can't be. I can't be pregnant. But when I was visiting Elizabeth, I sort of felt like it might be true. I got this funny feeling in my stomach, and she thinks I am. I don't know. I wonder if I should tell Joseph. I mean, I want to have kids someday, and it doesn't matter if they're important. I just want to be a good mom. King or not, I'm going to love my baby. I mean, I'm nobody special, but I can love a baby, that's for sure.
I'll never have the power to control the land, or conquer half the world, or claim the sun. I'll never be the kind who simply waves her hand and has a million people do the things I wish I'd done. But in the eyes of heaven, my place is assured. I carry with me heaven's grand design. Gloria, Gloria, I will sing the name of the Lord, and he will make me shine. And I will be like Mother Mary, with a blessing in my soul, and I will give the world my eyes so they can see. And I will be like Mother Mary, with a blessing in my soul, and the future of the world inside of me. In the eyes of heaven, my place is assured. I carry with me heaven's grand design. Gloria, Gloria, I will sing the name of the Lord, and he will make me shine. And I will be like Mother Mary, with a blessing in my soul, and I will give the world my eyes so they can see. And I will be like Mother Mary, with a blessing in my soul, and the future of the world inside of me. And I will be like Mother Mary, with the power in my veins to believe in all the things I wish I'd be. And I will be like Mother Mary, and don't suffer any pain, for the future of the world. For the future of the world inside of me.
And embrace our ability to love.
You'll never believe what happened. Now, the birth of Jesus took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been engaged to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found to be with child. Her husband, Joseph, being a righteous man and unwilling to expose her to public disgrace, planned to dismiss her quietly. But just when he had resolved to do this, an angel appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you are to name him Jesus." All this took place to fulfill what had been spoken by the prophet. "Look, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel." When Joseph awoke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took her as his wife, but had no marital relations with her until she had borne a son, and he named him Jesus.
My name is Joseph, and I guess I should have trusted the dream I had, that vision from the angel about Mary getting pregnant and all. I was sure skeptical at first. I mean, it all seemed so fantastic. I was also afraid. Don't get me wrong, I trust Mary, I always have. But how would I explain this to her family, to mine, to everyone in town? Remembering the dream made me feel a little better, but I still had some doubts. I just didn't talk about it to anyone. None of that matters anymore. What does matter is the wonder of what happened in that stable is almost more than I can take in. I find myself gazing at this beautiful baby until it seems like time practically stands still. It's all rather surreal. I don't notice the chill now or the fog that appears every time we breathe. Well, okay, I'll admit it, I do still notice the smell of cow dung. But that just doesn't matter either. The cows and sheep here, they seem to somehow know that something very special has happened. And it's like they're quietly reverent in their own way. We're all pretty quiet, I suppose, Mary too. There's a knowing between us that I can't put into words. Something extraordinary happened here tonight, something that goes beyond words. When I look at our baby, I feel like the whole new world is starting to unfold before my eyes. Does every new father experience this? There have been some fleeting moments tonight when I have felt like this is all more than my heart can take in. It's strange, though, because on the other hand, as corny as it sounds, it feels like I have a new heart, a heart that knows love like I've never known it before. I don't know how things will go from here, but I do know that something is different now. Like I said, I should have trusted that dream I had.
So please rise in body and our spirit for O Little Town of Bethlehem. As we sing, we might imagine Mary and Joseph coming into this little town, lost strangers.
A candle for Joseph. A candle for Joseph and for the times in our life when we accept with wonder the surprising ways that life opens us to new blessings and love.
You'll never believe what happened. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. Joseph went from the town of Nazareth to the city of David called Bethlehem, because that's where his family was registered. He went with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. And while they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
Hey folks, my name's Sal, and I keep a nice little hotel in downtown Bethlehem. I'd like to set the record straight about some details of that night, December 24th. You know the story. I remember that night well. The young couple arrives looking for a place to stay. Joseph, he's looking scared to death. Mary, she was calm and dignified, and she had the most beautiful eyes. Now, I could see she was pregnant, but how was I to know she was going to give birth any minute? I had no room at my place. The town was hopping that night. What could I do? But I could see Joseph was all wired up, so I told them they could have my trailer. It was out back. There was a mattress and some blankets. It would be comfortable. So they wandered out, and I guess they turned the wrong way because they ended up in my neighbor Marty's barn. I don't know why they didn't come back and talk to me. It wasn't my fault they ended up in Marty's stable. But since then, everybody points the finger at me as the one who put them up in a barn full of animals to have a baby. And forevermore, at this time of year, people are putting up these little manger scenes in front of their houses and churches and blaming me for throwing them out of my hotel. They could have stayed in the trailer. But things turned out all right for them. Those perchance parents, they raised that kid with love. And that couldn't have been easy. He was kind of difficult. Always skipping school, acting like he knew better than everyone else. He had some big ideas, and he was spreading lots of far-out messages around town. But his parents were always there for him. And you know, the kid turned out okay. He did well. As for me, I don't go in for Christmas so much. All the fuss people make, it doesn't interest me. But every year, when December 25th comes around, I remember about that night and wonder about how such love could have been born in a barn.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to have been there, to experience that birth? Let's sing, Jesus our brother. Please rise.
Jesus
candle for the innkeeper. A candle for the innkeeper. Like the harried innkeeper, may we find ways to find beauty and see love in the unexpected.
Every month, this congregation generously chooses an organization to support through our Split the Plate program. On this evening, as is our tradition, we are taking a once-a-year offering for a very special purpose, our Ministers Make a Difference Fund. Monies in the Ministers Make a Difference Fund are used to assist folks in circumstances that require an urgent financial response. Most times, these are people from this church, but not always. The money can help when the regular safety nets fail, or to help someone who's hurting or who needs to pay utility bills or buy medicine. We use it to help cover travel for someone who needs to attend to a family emergency or to get groceries for someone in need. Monies might also be used to kickstart a program or make it possible for folks to take part in experiences that grow our faith. It's critical that we're able to do this when such needs arise. You know, helping individuals and families in this way reflects the spirit of what being part of a spiritual community is all about. We're here for each other, and any one of us might be in need. And when that's true, there are others of us who can help. So if you're that person who right now could really use some temporary financial support, please reach out to me. We're here for you. And during this season of giving, I do hope that those of you who can will give heartily to this fund. It's just once a year that we give to this fund. In doing so, you'll be touching the lives of many people. So our offerings for the Ministers Make a Difference Fund will now be gratefully received. never believe what happened. In that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock. An angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I bring you good tidings of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord." And suddenly there was a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among all people." When the angels had left them, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that's taken place." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. And when they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart.
Our story starts when we were about to get the sheep settled for the night in the field. Out of nowhere, this person appeared.
Seemed kinda ghostly, really, or like an angel.
Saying that a special baby was going to be born in the neighboring town of Bethlehem.
As I got close to the stable, I could see a soft light glowing around the stall furthest away. I snuck around to the back, hoping desperately that Lucy wouldn't bleat and give us away. When we got to the stall with the light, I crouched down and found some boards far enough apart to allow me to peek through.
It was incredible. Lying in the hay where cattle usually sleep was a young woman. She was beautiful and looked tired but quite happy.
I moved to another peephole, and then I saw him. The new baby was wrapped in a blanket, and his eyes were closed, so I guess he was sleeping. I wanted to have a better look and forgot all about hiding. I put Lucy down and stepped closer.
That's when I saw that my brother had followed me. I couldn't help but smile at him, and I waved him closer. The woman looked up at us with kind eyes. She pulled the blanket back a bit so that we could see him better, sleeping peacefully.
I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
But we had to get back to the sheep.
I wanted to leave a gift, but I had nothing. Only Lucy, who by now was curled up in the hay on the other side of the baby. Lucy would make a perfect gift, and I knew that he would love her.
I often wonder about that night. I want to go back to that stable in Bethlehem and feel that kind of love again.
Good people all, this Christmas time, consider well and bear to find a lodging in the town. But mark how all things came to pass. From every door, repelled, alas, as long foretold, their refuge all was but a humble oxen stall. Near Bethlehem did shepherds keep their flocks of lambs and feeding sheep, to whom God's angels did appear, which put the shepherds in great fear. Prepare and go, the angel said, to Bethlehem. Be not afraid, for there you'll find this happy morn a princely babe, sweet Jesus born. With thankful heart and joyful mind, the shepherds went the babe to find. And as God's angel had foretold, they did our Savior Christ behold. Was in a manger he was laid, and by his side the Virgin Maid, attending on the Lord of life, who came on earth to end all strife.
A candle for the shepherds. Like the wide-eyed shepherd seeking the birth of love, may we engage life with curiosity and wonder.
You'll never believe what happened. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and calling together all of the chief priests and scribes, he inquired where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem, for so it has been written." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared, and then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage."
Stars are my thing. I love nerding out about stars. My friends and I, we study the stars, and we teach about stars. People come to us all the time to ask about stars, what star they were born under, what star is rising for them. It's all about stars. We believe that stars have great power and wisdom. They hold the key to so much understanding. But see, a while ago, we saw a star like we had never seen before. And actually, we've been waiting for it because the prophets have said that this would happen someday. So when we saw it rising, we knew it was somehow connected to a king, or maybe a queen, or some trans-fabulous being, or anyway, an important leader. All the signs tell us that. What, you think that isn't science? Well, it is. Still, we have to test it. We need to study this star event. And of course, we must meet the person who brought this star, who brought the star to us. After all, we're scientists. So we loaded up the camels and headed off. This is a critically important expedition. The potential to discover something earth-shattering. Now, everywhere we go, we've been asking if others have noticed this star, and if they know where we can find the baby. Nothing yet. But the other day, we got hauled into the court of King Herod, someone I don't like to refer to as a king, but anyway, just, another political hack from Rome. All he did was make demands. He said he wants us to let him know when we find the baby, so he can go and pay homage. But I don't trust him. Not a wink. I'm a scientist. I need to know and understand things, so I follow where the stars lead. No government is going to tell me what to study or what to wonder about, so I'm certainly not going to spend any time answering to Herod. If we find this majestic, luminary sovereign, this baby, and I bet we will again prove that the stars don't lie. In fact, we're not going to stop until we find what we're looking for. It's just that important. We've got to figure this out, figure out what the star is saying. Did I tell you we packed some special gifts? Well, just in case. I mean, if this event is as big as it looks, we've got to show or express it in some way, our love and joy for it.
So, sing we now of Christmas. Let's do that. Let's sing of Christmas.
A candle for the wise people. Like the journeying astronomers, may we turn to wonder and have the courage to follow the stars leading us to more love and joy.
You'll never believe what happened. When they had heard about the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. And on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Can you tell what I am? So I have lived in the heavens for eons, casting my light far and wide, and I've had a very special fascination with watching life unfold on planet Earth.
I feel some kind of inexplicable connection to them. You know, kind of like, we are stardust, we are golden. Just be glad I didn't sing that part. But I remained unnoticed for what felt like all of eternity. Just a quiet observer, hidden in a sea of stars. Until one night, one cold night, not so very long ago, out of the darkness, I heard a call. It was expressed as a tone of deep despair and a cry for help. Something stirred in me, and also in all of the other light beings like me that were participating in the evolving order of life on Earth. Each of us luminous points played our part in the events that transpired to satisfy their longings for light and for love. Almost immediately, something seemed to open up within me, letting my brilliance beam more brightly than ever before. And the humans, they noticed me, and they decided to rely on my guidance. They trusted me, and they trusted themselves to follow the light. Just then, magic began to happen. I remember it like a dream. There were gifts given, wisdom shared, a gathering of animals, comfort and warmth. Oh, a long, long, long journey, and a newborn baby. Remembering that time elicits a feeling that I've learned to call love. Every year, right around this time, I know that the humans are remembering also. They're remembering love.
And we're going to sing once more, There's a Star in the East.
Rise up, shepherd, and follow. It will
candle for the star. Like a star in the night sky, may we be purveyors of wonder, sending love and light out into the universe.
Let's join our hearts and minds together in the spirit of meditation and prayer, traveling in spirit to that place where all souls meet at the inn at the end of the world, searching for love. May we breathe deeply of peace in this quiet place, relax into its warmth, knowing that we're safe here. And let us open our hearts to the story we've heard tonight. Here we've wondered at the ancient story about the birth of Jesus, and in our wondering, we have opened our hearts to those who lived this story and how they found, and perhaps we then also found, more love and more understanding. May these moments of quiet lead us to the heart of the season, the knowledge that while each child comes forth alone, each child brings the promise of light and love, and that it's left to us to offer light and love to each child and to each other and to our planet. Holy One, to these prayers for our own transformation, we add our prayers for all those who suffer and grieve this evening. May they find comfort. May this season of peace and goodwill nudge our world always toward greater wonder and love, for then will Christmas truly dawn. Amen. So it's time now for that special lighting of candles, which will happen as I share the words of Victoria Safford. So get your candles ready. And when we're all lit with tonight's special light, we'll stand and sing together Silent Night. I'm going to ask Jeannie and maybe Rob and Lynn, would you come light a candle from the chalice or from one of these candles and start taking them to the ends of pews? Not pews, you're in rows of chairs, aren't you? We're going to be lighting all of our candles as beacons of love. Oops, not working. Here's another one. Try that one. Now is the moment of magic, when the whole round earth turns again toward the sun. And here's a blessing. The days will be longer and brighter now, even as the winter settles in to chill us. Now is the moment of magic, when people beaten down and broken, with nothing left but misery and candles and their own clear voices, kindle tiny lights and whisper secret music. And here's a blessing. The dark universe is suddenly illuminated by the lights of the menorah, suddenly ablaze with the lights of the Kinara, and the whole wide world is glad and loud with winter singing. Now is the moment of magic, when an eastern star beckons the ignorant toward an unknown goal. And here's a blessing. They find nothing in the end but an ordinary baby, born at midnight, born in poverty, and the baby's cry, like bells ringing, makes people wonder as they wander through their lives what human love might really look like and sound like and feel like. Now is the moment of magic, and here's the blessing. Already possess all the gifts. Music, eyes to behold lights, hands to build true peace on earth, and to hold each other tight in love. Child of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Please remain standing as you're able. Take another moment to feel the heavenly host around you, this room full of twinkling lights, all these human bodies that hold stories of joy and pain, of doubt and of hope. Stand in wonder, stand in love. As we come to the end of our precious time together this evening, my wish for you is that you leave here feeling peaceful, feeling full, feeling the love. As you exit the sanctuary, there will be baskets where you can place your candles and whatever papers you don't wish to keep. Hear these closing words. We remember the story. We stand here uncertain as wanderers in the night, unsuspecting as shepherds on the hilltop, hopeful as followers of a star. We would remember this Christmas story. Like Mary, may we recognize our worthiness with quiet joy. Like Joseph, may we learn to trust in times of uncertainty. Like the innkeeper, may we find ways to find beauty in the unexpected. Like the wide-eyed shepherds, may we engage life with wonder. Like the journeying astronomer, we always have the courage to follow our stars. And like a star in the night sky, may we be silent witnesses to the simple glory of light. Take this story of Christmas, but to take it, you must also add to its wonder and to its love. Great tidings of peace and joy to you. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.